Hi, it's me again. Excuse me. So, um, this is vlog number 3, um, and I thought I should address something that was a very specific observation about me and my behaviour, and that is from someone who I've known for a long time, but um, and everyone's entitled to their views, and this person may well be right, and I owe it to myself to speak to my GP and share what this person has written to me with that person's observations, and let the GP either agree or disagree with that diagnosis, or refer me on to someone else for further analysis or therapy. So the view of this person is that my actions seem to be, as I indicated in the last vlog, with my spending and stuff. And I'll preface this by saying, hang on, let me just, yeah. Oh God, sorry. I'll preface this by saying that I don't know myself exactly what's going on. I mean, I know what's going on in my head, but this is there is no instruction manual for what I'm doing at the moment. There are so many facets to what I'm going through. There are the hormonal changes, which are there are two sides to the hormonal changes. There's the physical and the emotional, and on the physical side there hasn't been a lot. Little bits I can sort of tell, but you don't know whether you're seeing things that don't exist, or things that you want to see, and I won't go into them here because maybe I'll do a separate vlog for that. But there's also the most noticeable change I've noticed has been on the emotional side, and that's that is that things that make me happy, little things, could be insignificant little things to anyone else, that make me happy, cause me to get emotional and shed some tears. And they're almost always happy things, and well, really, there aren't too many negatives. There are not too many things in terms of bad feelings that made me cry. It just hadn't happened. So that will happen, I guess. I mean, it happens to everybody, and I'm no different to anyone else. So the diagnosis is bipolar, of this person. Their opinion is that I have bipolar disorder, which is also known as manic depressive. Excuse me. As I said, I don't know if I have that or I don't have that. I try not to Google every symptom that I have, because what do they call that thing? Cyberchondria. And going to consult with Dr. Google. I mean, I Google lots of things, but I've learned that in my experience, if you think you have something and you Google it, you will find justification for it. You'll find something that says, yes, I knew I had it, and you will then go away thinking, oh gosh, now what am I going to do? And I know from previous psychological appointments that I've had that I do tend to, if I can say this word right now, it'll be the first time ever, I tend to catastrophize things. Yeah, I think I said it right. In other words, I tend to take, this is me as a person, David definitely, me not so much, but take any particular situation and assume the worst. So let's just say that I messaged my friend, and my friend didn't reply straight away. So I assume that my friend doesn't like me anymore, and then I go on along the path of, well, what did I do to upset them? And or maybe it was this thing that I said, or maybe it was because I didn't respond to their message, or it was their birthday 2 years ago and I forgot to send them a message, and now they're going to hate me, and my life is ruined. I mean, that's an oversimplification, but that's how catastrophization tends to work. So now I have that. Excuse me again. I know I have that inside of me, and I do tend to dwell on things. I'm a deep thinker. I'm very introspective, and but I'm also very empathetic to others. And let me just say, if I thought a friend of mine was bipolar or had bipolar disorder or manic depressive, there would be ways that I would have dealt with it probably differently than just coming out and saying you need to get help, which is essentially what was said. And again, I don't even know if the person who said that will watch this, because when I received an email from that person, several emails, it was like they weren't listening to anything that I had said in response to their comments. I offered up the vlogs, the vlog 1 and 2, and my blog as to what I'm going through, what my thought processes are, and that person said that they weren't interested in looking at that. So, please don't, if you're seeing this on Facebook or probably YouTube, I don't know how it all works. I just record it and see what happens. But please don't post negative comments about anybody else, this person or anyone else who you don't know. I happen to value their opinion incredibly, and that person's really important to me. It's just that I don't think that person may have actually looked at things through my eyes, and anyway, nobody can possibly see life through someone else's eyes. At some point you have to take things at face value, and when I say that, as Claire, I have nothing to hide, I have no more secrets, I have no filter, I really mean that. Whatever I say, if anyone asks me a question about anything, and I offer it up to you now, if you want to ask me anything about how I'm feeling, why did I make the decision to accept who I am, how did it feel to be living with this for 50 years? how much of a weight has come off my shoulders because of accepting myself, loving myself. And I do love myself now. Poor David never did. Anyway. So I'll wrap this up now before I get even more emotional. And I'm sorry, it's the hormones again. Worst case scenario, I have I have bipolar / manic depressive. As some of you know, I have a creative side to me. I've written quite a few songs. I've written the lyrics. I've written the music. I have recorded every instrument on the songs. I've produced it myself, and I've published it on SoundCloud. And if anybody wants to leave a message in response to this, I'll leave you the link. I'm proud of that stuff. And if that came about as a consequence of the manic side of this disorder, if I do have it, then fuck, I'll take that any day of the week. Now, excuse the French. And it just so happens, I don't hold myself up as some creative genius, because I'm not. But I do go through periods of creativity and periods of, as you know, loving to sing. I've always loved to sing. Smule is my safe haven. It's like I know I'm good at my job. And that's not blowing my own trumpet or anything, but I'm freaking good at my job. I've made a difference. It's not always appreciated in the places where it should be, but it is in the places that I want it to be. And I thank you guys for that. But I love to sing. I am creative. And maybe, just maybe, there is an element of bipolar in there, manic depressive. And if you have done any kind of research into psychological disorders, there's a manual called the DSM, which is a reference manual for psychiatrists and psychologists globally, where it defines every possible disorder. Then maybe I have it. Maybe I have it. Maybe I don't. But all of these disorders tend to be a place on a spectrum rather than a yes or a no answer or a binary kind of answer. So it's not a question of do I have it or don't I. I tend to think that I am somewhere on that spectrum, because there are periods where I do get I don't sleep enough, and I just latch onto some kind of activity, creative or otherwise, at the expense of my sleep. So, yep, tick that box. But let's just think about this. The world would be a much poorer place without a lot of people who you know, but who you may not have known had bipolar. Now I've got my computer. I'm cheating here, Wikipedia. I'll pick a few names out at random, and we as a society would not have the benefit of their contribution were it not for the fact that they didn't have some degree of bipolar disorder. So it's a tough gig. If you happen to have it, and maybe I have. And if you happen to have it, all isn't lost. Just my view on this, and I'll sign off as soon as I finish this list of names. My view on this is it's a blessing and a curse, but I actually think it's more of a blessing than a curse. And okay, I'll read the names and then I'll say goodnight. So it's a long, what are we up to? 15 minutes. I'm so sorry. They reckon on YouTube, if you go over 10 minutes, you'll lose 80% of my audience. So I guess there's 2 people just gone right now. So anyway, let's just quickly go through. I'll pick some names. These people all have some kind of, they've been diagnosed and accepted that they have bipolar to some degree. So there is Lily Allen, who I love as a musician. Most of these people are musicians or artists, painters and things. Adam Ant, the bees are a bit barren at the moment. Russell Brand, who's a British comedian and actor. Frank Bruno, the British boxer. Into the Seas. Who have we got? Mariah Carey. Now there's a surprise. I never knew that. Diagnosed with bipolar 2 disorder in 2001. Dick Cavett, the talk show host. Rosemary Clooney, who was American singer and actress, and actually George Clooney's mum. Francis Ford Coppola, who's a famous American producer and director. These are pretty barren. Oh, Richard Dreyfuss, so one of my favourite actors. Carrie Fisher. Poor Carrie recently passed away from Star Wars fame and lots of other things. Connie Francis, who was one of my favourite singers. This guy alone warrants some consideration of the potential benefit to humanity of people, particularly celebrities who put themselves out there with bipolar and what they bring. Not everyone likes him or gets him, but Stephen Fry, just check out his body of work. I'm not talking about just his Fry and Laurie stuff from the 70s with, Hugh Laurie of House fame, but Stephen Fry is an incredible person, and he has an amazing body of work, and he has he struggled with bipolar for his whole life. Then other things, Mel Gibson. I'll just go quickly through these now. Then I won't go through all of them because I don't recognise half of these people. Jesse Jackson. Margot Kidder, who was, I'm not sure if she's still alive, but she was in Superman. Vivian Leigh, actress. Demi Lovato, actress and singer. Look, there's probably not even much point. Spike Milligan, one of the goons. And I knew that from a while back. I remember reading something. Alison Moyet, the singer, a British singer. Kim Novak, actress. Bill Oddie from The Goodies. Charlie Pride, the country music singer. Lou Reed, musician. Renee Russo, the American actress. Charlie Sheen, let's not go there. Nina Simone, American singer. Dusty Springfield. I mean, my point is, where would we be as a society in all aspects of our lives, including academia, art, music, science, and the building of knowledge on the shoulders of giants, were it not for this group of people who happen to have bipolar, and because they contributed their little bit or their big bit to any one of those disciplines, we as a society have grown and evolved in ways we never could have. And Catherine Zeta-Jones. So, I mean, I'm sorry, I should have stopped much earlier in that list, but here's the thing: it's just important to know that if you happen to have been diagnosed with bipolar, manic depressive, that's a scary thing, and I haven't, and I will pursue that to see whether there are any elements of that in me. No elements in me. If I have any of those tendencies, and if I do, I'm not sure there's even any treatment for it. So what's the point? I mean, it's people like Stephen Fry. I've seen documentaries of his struggles, and it's basically what a lot of people who are afflicted by it do is just make the fucking most of the manic part and suffer through the depressive part till you get to somewhere in the middle, and just see how your life develops. I mean, you can't change yourself. I mean, what's the point in beating yourself up about it? What's the point about beating someone else up about having it? If I have it, I have it. If I don't, I don't. And if I do have it, it's not treatable. It's only a question of knowing that I have it, and maybe I can recognize the periods when I go from one extreme to the other, and I don't think it's just a switch that's flipped. So anyway, I'll sign off now because I've rambled on for way too long and shed tears. Stupid hormones. Not stupid, they're good hormones. But anyway, thank you for listening, and maybe if you hear this or watch this, person who made that comment to me might mean something. You mean a lot to me, don't ever forget that. And you all mean a lot to me. So, thanks for sharing my journey. Night.